Let's make Typhoon shelter squid. It's garlicky, it's spicy, it's got so much umami and saltiness from the black beans, and also a little bit of MSG. And the Typhoon shelter style toppings. It's typically served on top of whole crab here in Hong Kong, but you can do it with squid, you can do it with shrimp, you can even do it with chicken wings. We're gonna clean and cut up this squid. So usually I would use like a smaller squid, maybe this big. They just happen to have these on hand, so I use this. And so I'm warning you now, this part gets a little gross. So if you don't wanna do this, you can always buy like frozen calamari rings or whatever, but it's a good life skill to have if you ever plan on making squid, and especially this Typhoon shelter squid. So first thing you wanna do is pull the tentacles out of the body, and this whole mess of stuff will come out. All right, next, inside this body, you're gonna feel something that feels like plastic. This is basically like the equivalent of the squid skeleton, and it's called the quill, and you're gonna literally pull that out. Oh shit. Oh, see, it's literally like shards of plastic. I've never done a squid this big, it's quite hard to get it out. The smaller squids, it's much easier. We'll do it later. Now what you want to do is you want to cut off the fins. You actually don't want to eat the fins. And you'll find that once you make these cuts, it'll also allow you to peel off this outer purple layer of skin. And you'll see that it kind of just all comes off, like so, in one swoop. So you can discard this part. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna start cutting it into rings. So I'm gonna cut the bottom part because I can't get the rest of the quill out. So I'm gonna cut rings. And this is the easiest way to cut your calamari. There it is. Look at that. Like a piece of plastic. And that's the skeleton kind of. You wanna kind of make sure you pull out all the guts and pretty much anything you don't wanna eat, pull that out. So in terms of cleaning the rest of the body, so you want to cut right below the eyes. This is all for discard as well. And then inside, if you squeeze from the tentacles, there's going to be a little thing that pops out. Oh, actually it already came out with the eyes, but this little thing is called the beak, and you also want to get rid of that. And now we have our tentacles, and this one is super long. So this one you can kind of like cut it into more manageable pieces. And then the tentacles I love to eat. I'm gonna cut it into 2 pieces by just cutting it in half, maybe 3. Share the tentacle love so people aren't fighting over it. And so here we have our tentacles. Okay, and now the body, the rest of the body. So I'm gonna cut some of it into rings. Okay, and then what we wanna do is you actually wanna cut it, go inside and cut along. All right, now you wanna cut it open. And all this stuff inside of it, just, you can kind of scrape it off. And you don't wanna eat this stuff. So now we're left with this guy. And what I like to do is I like to make these curls. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna slice some diagonal lines. You don't wanna go all the way through though. Maybe like 3/4 or halfway through. And I'm sure you've seen this preparation when you go to the Chinese restaurant. Okay, now we're gonna do it the other way to kind of create this like crosshatch pattern. And what I love about this pattern, it kind of traps the breadcrumbs inside the crevices. And so now just cut this into pieces. So let's cut it in half. And these will curl up when you fry them. We have our rings, we have our curls, and we have our tentacles. Now just rinse all of this in under cold water to make sure you get any other gunk off of them. Now we're gonna marinate the squid. Now while it's marinating, you can use this time to prepare the rest of your ingredients. I honestly like to eat it with a spoon so you can dig up all those Typhoon shelter style toppings. It's so good. If you have the full recipe with all the ingredients, measurements, and timing, make sure to get a copy of my cookbook, Indulgent Eats at Home. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more. See ya!